Of all the things we've heard about 9/11, among the most troubling is this. About 3,000 children lost a parent that day. Their average age was 9 years old. With the 5th anniversary, we wondered what's become of this 9/11 generation. What we've discovered is, for many of them, it's been a bewildering, painful time. For some, it feels like it's still September the 12th. To help them move forward, a group called Tuesday's Children has organized counseling, mentoring, and summer trips to help shepherd the children who lost a parent all the way through college. 2 of Tuesday's Children are Bridget Fisher and Brielle Saracini, best friends who never would have met had Brielle's dad not been a captain for United Airlines and Bridget's dad a security specialist at the World Trade Center.
I was in school at lunch, and I got pulled in to the guidance counselor's office, and immediately he reached for the tissue box and handed it to me. And I remember thinking, why are you giving this to me? My dad's fine. I don't understand. My dad will be fine.
Bridget's dad, John Fisher, had left the World Trade Center before the attack, but ran back when he heard the explosion. Fisher helped direct the evacuation from the command center. As he went in, pilot Victor Saracini's hijacked 767 was zeroing in on the second tower. Saracini's daughter, Brielle, was 10 when her mother came to pick her up at school.
She took me aside and she was like, "Dad's hurt." And I was like, "Oh, okay," just thinking nothing of it. And she was like, "He's really hurt. I don't think we're ever going to see him again."
Victor Saracini left behind 2 daughters. John Fisher was the father of 7, Bridget's brothers and sisters.
After it happened, I stayed up with them and I comforted them. There were so many that my mom couldn't take care of us all. So I helped her with that.
I was more of the strong one. I couldn't let my family see me cry. It was weird. I went to school the next day, and people were shocked to see me there. And
you went to school the next day?
Yeah, I tried to be normal, but I always secretly hoped. Months after, I would still hope that maybe he just couldn't remember where he lived, or he was just in the hospital just recovering. But I eventually, 5 years from now, realized that he's just not coming back. And that's difficult, but you just got to move on.
How far has the 9/11 generation moved on? To find out, we went with Tuesday's Children on a summer trip to Costa Rica. The kids told us they like to be together because they understand each other. There's no pity or awkward conversation because they're all coming from the same place.
My name is Amy Gardner. I'm 14 years old, and my dad's name was Thomas Gardner. He was a fireman.
I'm Kyle Fisher. My dad was John Fisher, and he worked in the World Trade Center designing security systems.
I'm Eric Abrahamson. My dad was William Abrahamson, and he worked for Marsh McLennan.
My name is Ryan Mackerlane. My dad worked for Kenner Fitzgerald, and his name was John Mackerlane.
I'm Tom Fergus. I'm 15. My dad was Edward Fergus.
I'm Shannon Fergus. I'm 16. My dad was Ed Fergus, and he worked for Kenner Fitzgerald. I'm Marina Wang. I'm 15. My dad was Baby Wong, and he worked for Kenner Fitzgerald.
They volunteered to talk to us, even though the questions would be hard to answer and, frankly, hard to ask. We found that 9/11 is still present, even in kids eager to move on.
After 9/11, I used to hate everybody around me, and I was so mad.
You're feeling like that's leaving you now?
It's gone now. I used to hate just everyone, how they looked at me, just everything.
I always thought my dad would be there for me, like, forever, but it's kind of like, you know.
Tell me how you're better. Tell me how you're different now today.
It's just that, people who like did this, they don't know that, like, you can't destroy love no matter what you do. And,
can't destroy love.
Yeah, and
I understand, and that's enough. Losing a parent in 9/11 is unlike anything else. There were no goodbyes. The murder was so public, and the reminders never end. There's a feeling of helplessness still, and that's what Costa Rica was all about. Tuesday's Children brought them here to lend a hand easing poverty. The village school sorely needed repairs and paint, and the Garcia family, which only had an outhouse, would get a bathroom built by the end of the week.
They need to start giving back to help ease their pain. They're trying to turn the pain into something more positive.
Kathy Murphy is with Tuesday's Children. She organized this, their first trip centered on helping others.
So giving back is a tool that will do that, and it will build resilience in the children.
The youngest child in Tuesday's Children is 4.5, which really begs the question, how long do you go on?
Well, we certainly go on to see that 4.5-year-old completely through college, for sure, and then into, you know, the job market.
You're talking about another 18 or 20 years.
That's right, we are. The
idea of summer camps for 9/11 kids started right away in 2002. We looked in on one called America's Camp last month in Massachusetts. Take a look at this room. 9/11 kids, 250 of them. Jennifer Angelini is 12 years old. Her sister Jacqueline is 10. They've found comfort in the company of kids.
Yeah, like, because everybody knows how everybody else feels. Like, they know what they're going through. So, like, oh, if you can do that, I can do that too. And, like, they're not afraid to be embarrassed.
And they can talk to you, about how you feel, because they can say, like, I feel the same way or something.
On 9/11, the Angelini kids lost their father and their grandfather, both New York City firefighters. They were Joseph Sr., Joseph Jr., and this is Joseph Angelini III, who was 3 on 9/11.
I forgot who said it, but they said that my grandpa went in after my dad.
Yeah, because he knew that my dad would go in there, and even if my dad was home, he would have went, because they called all firefighters all over the world. Even if you were on the other side of the world, you would have came in. You would have had to.
In these first 5 years, the 9/11 generation has been growing up. Some, like Joseph, are in grade school with very few memories of that day. Others are in college now. This is Zach Zion when we first met him in 2001, weeks after the attacks. He was 18 when he told us about his dad, Chuck, who was a senior vice president of the financial firm Cantor Fitzgerald on the 104th floor of the World Trade Center.
When I saw the building actually collapse, I knew that it was really unlikely.
Zach was in high school when we spoke to him the first time in 2001, and this is Zach today. After 5 years, he's finishing college. Does September 11th, 2001 feel like it was yesterday, or does it feel like it was a long time ago?
It feels like it was very recent. You know, it's very there in your past, but at the same time, you have so many opportunities to see it all over again. Every time you pick up a paper or turn on the TV, there's always reminders there.
Reminders come in the most unexpected ways, like this receipt from his father's desk that was found burned and blowing down a street in Brooklyn. An artist found it and framed it.
He was such a great teacher, and he was taken away from me right when he was about to start teaching. And I've come to realize that since our last interview. You know, over the 5 years, I've really seen, you know, that from his perspective, he was probably just on the verge of being able to really teach me.
A mentor in Zach's chosen profession, his father's profession, finance. In fact, we were surprised at how many 9/11 kids want to follow their dad, like Captain Victor Saraceni's daughter, Brielle. You're taking flying lessons now.
Yes.
Why?
I think when I'm up in the air, flying around, it'll give me a sense that I could be connected to my dad, and I know that one day he was my age, sitting in a plane, flying around.
What is it like for you in the cockpit of the airplane?
I don't know. It's a mixture of emotions. I feel really happy just knowing that, like, my dad used to do this stuff, and this was his profession.
They're holding on in every way they can, because once they lost their dads to terror, now they're losing them to time.
Sometimes I remember from when my brothers put on his cologne, I remember his smell, but I don't really remember him. I don't remember what he was.
When you lose someone, those memories tend to fade when you don't see them all the time.
Yeah, I don't really remember him that much. It's sad.
After 5 years, some of my memories are fading away, and in a way it kind of scares me because I don't want them to be gone, of course.
Do you remember his voice?
I remember his voice because my mom keeps it on his voicemail.
Do you remember what it is?
Yes. He gets on the phone and he says, "Hi, this is Victor. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Please leave a message. Thank you." And then he hangs up. Sometimes it bothers me because I know he won't get back to me sometimes, but I don't know. It's the best we can do.
The kids also told us that some of the worst memories don't fade because the media won't let them. We got an earful about showing those pictures of 9/11 over and over again.
Even when you're just sitting down, like eating dinner and watching TV, it's like you'll just have like a nice conversation, and then all of a sudden you'll see like pictures of 9/11. You can't escape it. It's just like everywhere you go, it's always like you're always reminded of it somehow, even in the littlest thing.
They're showing my dad's death and everyone else here. It's just really offensive. Every time I see it, it brings up so much, and it actually really hurts.
Eric, who lost his dad, William, may have had a harder time than many. You can almost see it in his eyes. He told us that hatred he felt for everyone has faded, and just now, he's putting some distance between himself and 9/11.
These past 2 years, maybe, but this year, I've started to really come to grip of what went on and how I was affected by it and how much I've changed from it, actually.
9/11 will always be about the sky. After an airplane killed his dad, Eric was afraid. Afraid of planes, afraid of flying, afraid of remembering.
When you start, you're all buckled in, you're checking everything.
Today, in the same skies of New York, Eric puts 9/11 behind him by soaring straight into it.
I'm starting to actually do the takeoff now, so I'm kind of concentrating on not screwing up now.
You gotta get off. All right, here we go.
Once you're at a certain altitude, they'll let you go, and then you just start soaring. It's really great. If you look out the window, you see everybody flying by you, but you're the one that's flying. And then you just kind of go right up, and by then you're just kind of climbing and climbing. It's a really great feeling.
The passage of 5 years has been a transforming time. The 9/11 generation is raising the courage to face what was painful. And in searching for meaning, they've found answers in themselves.
I don't think I would be the same person if 9/11 didn't happen to me. I wouldn't wish it. I would change it if I had the chance, of course. But I think it's made me realize that I need to be nicer to people, and maybe if I can help give back, it'll spread, and people won't do things like hijack airplanes and take the lives of other people.
After 9/11 happened, I was laying with my sister. I remember telling her, I'm so sad. How am I gonna make myself happy? And I figured it out. It's by making other people happy. Other people around you. It's by doing good deeds for other people. That's what makes me happy.
You know, some people never figure out that secret of life.
I'm lucky. I'm lucky in so many ways.